We've got some final details on Scream 7, plus a little bit of news on the potential future of the franchise as well, some news on the Hard Eyes sequel, the Ted Lasso Season 4 that's upcoming, and Martin Scorsese's next movie. All that and more here on the February 25th edition of Movie News Daily. Let's get into it. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Movies, where you can see all kind of movie and TV show talk with me, JC, especially within the superhero, comedy, and horror genres. So if those are up your alley, be sure you hit that subscribe button. We're talking a lot of Scream right now in the lead up to Scream 7, and we'll continue to have a lot of content based around that movie as we are in Scream 7 release week. We've made it. Can't wait to see it, guys. I know you all probably are just as excited as I am. We're talking a lot about that. And of course, we have movie news updates here on our Movie News Daily Show that you're tuned into right now every Monday through Friday. So be sure you subscribe here to get that movie news directly into your feed. That helps me grow the channel. And you can also help out just by hitting that thumbs up button while you're here watching the video. Giving this video a like helps it hit that YouTube algorithm so it can find other movie and TV show fans like you and me. With that out of the way, let's get set to dive into today's edition of Movie News Daily. And we may as well lead it off with Scream news, as Variety's dropped a couple of tidbits today that I think are super interesting. One surrounding Scream 7 here, the other about the future of the franchise, which we'll get to momentarily. But as far as Scream 7 is concerned, a little bit of detail on kind of some of the financial aspects. As we knew, a rewrite came. They had to replace Christopher Landon. They bring in Kevin Williamson back to the franchise. And that was a $500,000 rewrite after Melissa Brera was fired, and then Jenna Ortega and Christopher Landon exited, which allowed for a big payday for Neve Campbell, which rightfully so, after they kind of tried to give her the short end of the stick on Scream 6, which is why she turned it down. But she secured nearly a $7 million deal to come back as Sidney Prescott after skipping Scream 6 over that pay dispute, as I mentioned there. Courtney Cox, who's been in every one of these movies, is back again, and she was awarded a $2 million payday. So just some details there from that Variety article, which is really interesting. You should check out the full article there if you'd like, but those are some of the main talking points that come out of it. But they're also dishing on the future of the franchise, as it sounds like we will indeed be getting a Scream 8 after 7, as Variety reporting insiders suggest that plans are already in place for Scream 8 ahead of the release of the 7th installment. Not too surprised here with how good pre-sales have gone. The movie's probably going to make its budget back just in the opening weekend, which is big here for Scream, and going to be one of the bigger Scream openings that we've had. I think a lot of people are really anticipating Scream 7, one of my most anticipated Scream movies in quite some time, with all the people that are returning to this franchise. So I think it's going to do great. It's going to do gangbusters, and that's going to lead to Scream 8, as Variety has shared here as well. So I'm all for it. Give us some more Scream, and that's just what we're going to get, according to Variety. And we may as well stick with the theme here, stuff from Variety, as we have another update, this one on the Tulsa King spinoff that's going to star Samuel L. Jackson, the Tulsa King show there on Prime, from Sylvester Stallone and Taylor Sheridan. Sylvester Stallone, the star in that one. But the Tulsa King spinoff was previously going to be set in New Orleans. I think it was going to be called Nola King, but it's now been renamed as Frisco King, and production is going to start right away in Fort Worth, Texas. So this one's going to be based in Frisco, Texas, instead of New Orleans as it was previously. But I do like the detail of Taylor Sheridan writing all 8 episodes of the Samuel L. Jackson Tulsa King spinoff. I think that's only going to improve it. And obviously, he probably wanted the chance to work with Samuel L. Jackson, and going to get that in the now titled Frisco King. And then how about Ted Lasso Season 4? We've been kind of awaiting more details on this one. We know it is rumored that he's going to be coaching, a women's team now. Some cast returning, some cast not returning. We're going to see how it goes, but won't have to wait too long. Looks like we'll get this in the fall, according to Deadline, discussing film, sharing it here on social media. Ted Lasso Season 4 is expected to release in August. Looking forward to it. And then Dread Central sharing an exclusive here, as Hard Eyes 2 is indeed in the works. I think we talked about that previously, which is one that, I didn't love, but I definitely didn't hate either. I'm all for, getting a sequel to it. I love slasher movies, so the more slashers, the better, in my opinion, especially holiday-based slashers. I'm all for that. But Mason Gooding, fitting in with our Scream theme here recently. We know he's been in the past 3 Scream movies now, so he'll be in Scream 7 as well. And he was one of the stars of Hard Eyes, and now he's in talks to return for Hard Eyes 2 to be directed by Josh Rubin, as Dread Central here reports. So look out for Mason Gooding, likely to be in the Hard Eyes sequel as well. And then how about an update on the next Martin Scorsese film, which is going to be an adaptation of a ghost story, which I think is interesting. The ghost story is known as What Happens at Night. Don't know if that'll be the title of the film or not, but we have some casting news for it. Deadline originally reporting it, Culture Crave sharing it here on social media, but the cast that we know of thus far looks pretty impressive, as we have Patricia Clarkson, Mads Mikkelsen, Jared Harris, Jennifer Lawrence, and of course Leo, another Leo and Martin Scorsese team up. Those two go hand in hand now and usually love all the work that they do together. So excited for Martin Scorsese's next film with this cast, and especially since it's adapting a ghost story potentially. And then got to throw in a little DCU talk here, because the Batman casting has been a hot topic. There's been a lot of people wanting Brandon Skellner, however you say his name, not 100% sure on that. But my personal favorite, since I've seen the trailers and haven't had a chance to watch the show yet, for the Love Story show on FX, where Paul Anthony Kelly plays JFK. But man, does he not look like Bruce Wayne incarnate. And a lot of people have been fan casting Paul Anthony Kelly now as Batman, so much so that he was asked about it in GQ magazine. It has a nice quote here as he says, "If that's what they say, then who am I to say no? I mean, that would be a dream come true." So it certainly sounds like he's up for it as well. We'll see if James Gunn ends up reaching out to any of these people that, we're all fan casting or not. But at this point, I would love to see, either one of the two main fan casts get the role. Paul Anthony Kelly, certainly my top choice to be the next Batman here in the DCU for the Batman Brave and the Bold movie. But we'll end up seeing what direction James Gunn chooses to go here in time. And then just lastly, as I continue to share these here on social media, both on my X page and of course on Instagram as well, and you can follow me on either one there at JC's Movies. You see it there on the screen. But on this day, some movies that released on February 25th, we had 8 Seconds back in 94, The Passion of the Christ in 04, Man of the House in 05, and then of course Hall Pass came out in 2011. Just a little bit of movie history on this day on February 25th as we wrap up the February 25th edition of Movie News Daily. So there you have it, another edition into the books, and it's almost that time. We're almost to Scream 7, guys. Can't wait. Glad we got to cover some more Scream news in this one, in addition to some other horror movie news, comedy, and superhero here on this show, as we always like to talk here on JC's Movies. If you haven't yet, be sure to check out all the Scream movies, as I've been going back and reviewing the franchise here in the lead up to Scream 7 on the channel. If you haven't checked those out, would appreciate it if you did. And, let me know your thoughts on each movie in the comment section below, just like you can let me know your thoughts on anything that we've talked about here on Movie News Daily in the comments as well. Always enjoy chatting about movies with you guys, and those interactions help me to continue to grow the JC's Movies channel here on YouTube. Having said that, I appreciate you tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.